Before I begin today's message, I want to speak briefly about the Kerr County flooding. I know the events there are still recent, but somehow it feels like I've been carrying them much longer. When you go through something heavy, something real, time can move fast and slow all at once. These past weeks have been a blur, but I'm grateful. Grateful to have found something to focus on, something to help me begin to heal. This community, this calling, this shared curiosity is giving me a place to put the pain. Please, as we go forward, remember the lives affected. Keep them in your thoughts and always help when you can. Even small kindness matters. I'm titling today's sermon, The Church That Grieved First. How this church began. I'm Archminister Jake. Beloved blurry ones, this isn't a sermon I write from a mountaintop. It wasn't whispered to me by wind or discovered under the paw print of some sacred beast. This church, blessed by Bigfoot, was born out of grief. Real, personal, suffocating grief. It didn't begin in the woods. It began in the wreckage. In Kerr County here in Texas. After the floodwaters had already receded, I was part of a team tasked with something no one ever wants to do. We were searching for those who had drowned, for victims, for lives that were taken too fast and too violently. I didn't carry furniture or clean up broken things. That's a job that's still going on. I searched for the dead for days. In the Texas heat, over huge hills of debris, twisted metal, broken homes, battered trees, I walked and searched. I saw things I will never unsee. So this church was birthed in sorrow. That's where this started. Not in moments of inspiration, but in a slow motion spiritual collapse. There are no poetic metaphors to dress it up. It was trauma. It was horror. It was death up close. When I came back from Kerrville, I didn't retreat into the woods. I didn't light a candle. I didn't sit beneath a tree. I ran. I drank. I hid. I didn't go searching for Bigfoot. I went searching for escape. And I found it for a time. It was at the bottom of a bottle. I found it in isolation, in avoidance, in nights that ended in tears and mornings that began with numbness. I wasn't okay, and I pretended I was. Because I thought, how could I ever be happy again when so many are still suffering? How could I laugh again when I've seen children's shoes lodged in branches? I told myself joy was betrayal. I told myself healing was selfish. I told myself I had to carry it all. For them, for me, for everyone. This tragedy is barely over a month old. People have moved on. The media has dispersed. I thought I was going to get back to normal on my own. But the truth was, I was breaking. Therapy, recovery, and remembering myself. I started therapy a couple weeks ago. This is all very recent, but due to trauma, it seemed like a lifetime of grief for me. I started therapy not because I was strong, but because I was unraveling. And in those hard, vulnerable, messy sessions, I began to understand something. I am allowed to be happy. even if I'm still sad. You know, you're allowed to heal, even while others are still hurting. Your joy does not erase their grief, and your sorrow does not cancel your right to smile again. In this short period of time, I've stopped drinking alcohol, not a badge of moral superiority, but because I finally remembered what it feels like to come back to myself. This church, this strange, spiritual, slightly ridiculous church, is part of that return. I went searching for Bigfoot, and I found myself. Bigfoot walks with the grieving. Blessed by Bigfoot is not a church for the perfect. It's a church for the recovering, the questioning, the wounded, the ones who hide in plain sight, the blurry ones. It's for those who have seen too much or still trying to live anyway. We don't worship Bigfoot. We walk with him. He does not demand belief. He offers presence. He doesn't speak in thunder of miracles. He speaks in silence, in rustling leaves, in patient steps, in the relief of being unseen for a while. He doesn't fix us. He accompanies us through addiction, through trauma, through therapy, through whatever it takes. There is no app for grief. In the loud, bright world we live in, grief is inconvenient. There's no emoji for what I saw. There's no filter that can soften those memories. And healing, it's not digital. It's not downloadable. It's sitting outside for 5 minutes with nothing but your breath and the breeze. It's turning your phone off because your nervous system can't take one more headline. It's saying no to alcohol or noise or hustle because you need quiet more than you need escape. And it's knowing that Bigfoot understands. He doesn't ask you to hurry. He never shames you for your slowness. He walks at your pace. You're not betraying the dead by living. I used to believe that any ounce of laughter, any moment of rest, any glimmer of peace was betrayal. Not just because of my time spent in Kerrville, but through all the tragedies that I've seen unravel over time, being in the fire department, working with foster children, and some of the other volunteer organizations I've worked with. You know, there are thousands suffering. People have lost mothers, children, brothers, their entire homes there in Kerrville. But quickly, I started to see it differently. I believe we honor them by living, by continuing, by finding meaning and community in weird little churches in the forest of our pain. Blessed by Bigfoot isn't about forgetting. It's about carrying what we saw and walking anyway. It's about honoring grief without making it our entire identity. Our communion is Kool-Aid and compassion. So we drink fruit punch Kool-Aid, not because it's magic, but because it reminds us of simplicity, of childhood, of rituals that don't have to be fancy to be sacred. We drink it in remembrance of who we were before the flood and in hope for who we might become after. And we offer this space, this community, not as a solution, but as a shelter for the blurry, for the tired, for the ones who need somewhere soft to land. So here's the blessing I offer to you. May your sorrow not harden you. May your joy not shame you. May your healing be slow and honest. And may you always remember, you are allowed to keep walking. Bigfoot is not a god. He's a guide. He doesn't live in the clouds. He walks beside you. And when you can't walk, he waits. This church was born in wreckage, and we built it from tears, from dirt, from silence, and yes, from Kool-Aid. You are welcome here, exactly as you are. Big bless be us all. Amen. Or as we say here, ah woo.